I'm Evan Gudmestead, an instructor of application and web development at Rankin Technical College. In this video, I'm going to go through the process of deploying a large language model to Azure's AI Foundry. You can see here I have GPT 4.1 Mini deployed on Azure. The reason you would do this is if you want to learn the brand new Microsoft Agent Framework. This is an excellent first step to take because all the documentation, of course, is working with models that are deployed on Azure. Of course, this is all the Microsoft ecosystem. They want you on Azure. And so this is a great first step to deploy a large language model so that you can learn this brand new framework that was announced on October 1st, 2025. Here are the steps to get that going. Where you start is on the Azure portal. So it's portal.azure.com and you need an account. And so go ahead and create an account. If you're a student, you can see there's some trials that are available for students. There's an Azure free trial. But you're going to need a subscription. So I'm actually going to start here under the subscriptions. Now I don't have this subscription, so I'm going to add a subscription and it's going to be a pay as you go. You can explore the different options, of course, if you are a student or you just want the free trial. I'm just going to pay as I go. And of course I'm going to have to authenticate. And so just a standard registration process. It has my information. I am not a robot. Please solve the puzzle. Use the arrows to rotate the face in the same direction. Looks about right. Oh, submit. The submit button wasn't there. Okay, I'm a human. Good. Now, of course, I need to hide my payment information. So let me go ahead and put in my credit card. I'll pause real quick. All right, credit card information, no technical support for now. Protect your account, multi-factor. We are creating your account. I do not want to chat right now. Are you satisfied? Let's see that it works. Okay, it worked. Before I tell them I'm satisfied. Okay, so I have an account. It's got my credit card, so it's happy. And now we're going to create this resource on Azure. And we're going to search for Azure OpenAI. Okay, I got multiple tabs open. Let me close this tab. We just have one tab open. And let me just kind of refresh so everything's Azure OpenAI. Now it knows I have a subscription, so it's all happy. Just had to refresh there. And let's create an Azure OpenAI Foundry recommended or Azure OpenAI. Well, the tutorial says Azure OpenAI, but if it recommends the Foundry, I'm going to veer off of the tutorial. The tutorial says Azure OpenAI, Yeah, I'm going to do Azure OpenAI. That I'm not veering off the tutorial. Okay. Okay, so it does have my subscription, and I need probably a resource group. So let's create a new resource group. I'll just call it Rankin Resource Group. And I'm in Central. If it's in there. Canada Central. Okay. East, West. Okay, East is fine. Instance details. Azure Open AI. Instance 1. Standard. The subdomain is already used. Instance EG. How about EG instance? Okay. Standard pricing. Configure network security, so tab 2. All resources, including the internet, can access this resource. Is the option, allow specific networks. Of course, we can change this later. Option 2. For now, I can lock it down more as I go. And the tags. Name, Rankin, Azure Open AI. Don't know that does anything for me. Tags are name value pairs, the name of the categorized resources. Okay, review and submit. And I'll pause while that goes through the process. Awesome. And so let's go to the resource. Before you can, okay, now we deploy a model. Okay, so we just created a resource and now we have to deploy the model. To deploy a model, sign into the Azure AI Foundry portal. Now I don't have an account here. Choose a subscription, but if I click sign in, okay, good. At least it picked up my authentication. Choose a subscription to work with. Azure AI Foundry. Upgrade your Okay, so it really wants me to upgrade, so I'm fine with that. And under management, select deployments. I'll pause while this upgrades. Okay. The upgrades seem to go. There's an API key. Of course, we'll keep that private. And your first project, new models, model catalog, Azure, DeepSeek, XAI. Okay. That's cool. Developer endpoints. Like before, your resources have access to API development. Playground, let's go. Okay, management, select deployments. Grok 4 Fast. Model leaderboards. Quality, safety, throughput. Okay. Audio generation, that's cool. GPT audio. Chat completion. Select a model. Models vary. Management deployments is what it says, but I'm imagining if I select a model, I can deploy it from here. Management deployments. What if I just select GPT 4.1, just going with mini. Okay, let's use this model. Maybe that'll start a deployment. Deployment name, GPT, sure. Okay, this is now under deployment, so my GPT 4.1 mini is deployed. And I'm in C#. And this now is what the documentation uses. So if I go back to this Microsoft Agent Framework, you bring in the packages, and let's just do this running a basic agent. And of course I need to get my API key, and I like putting my API key on Windows. And so what I'm going to do is environment variables, edit the system environment variables, and here I've got an Open AI API key. So also I'll call this my Azure GPT 4.1, just say 41 mini key. Actually, because this is more than just that individual key, Azure API key is what I'm going to call it. And I'll come back to that, because now that I have, oh, there's my key. So I'm going to pull this off the screen. Let's do this one more time. Environment variables, new Azure API key. I'm going to pull this off the screen as well. Copy it, paste it. Now I've got an environment variable. Okay, okay. Close all my Visual Studio instances. Save what I'm working on. Okay, I can bring this back. And now in Visual Studio, create a new project. Council app. Azure model deploy .NET 9. Tools. Browse. Microsoft Agents AI. Microsoft. You're not browsing correctly. Microsoft Agents AI. Why it wasn't there last time when I searched, I don't know. Okay. Now that I have the dependency brought in, I think, let's see if all these usings are recognized. Okay, OpenAI is not there. So here's a few more. So I got this one. Actually, I didn't get the OpenAI. So let's do this from the command prompt. That in. Azure Identity. Azure AI, OpenAI. Okay, now those usings are recognized. Okay, copy now. Of course, here, I'm going to pull from here instead of the actual docs, even though I can probably substitute. So, I can pull from the docs or I can pull from there. Okay, there's my URI, there's my model, deployment name, API key. So the API key, I'm going to read from the environment variable with equals environment dot get environment variable, and I got to actually get the right name there. Of course, what did I call it? Azure underscore API underscore key. And now we have our chat client as such. So there's our chat client, and pass in the API key, pass in the endpoint. Notice it did not use the model, but now we can await console.writeLine await chat client dot run oh, wait a minute, the chat client needs to be attached to an actual agent. So one more step is to boot up the agent. So here, oh, scroll down, and where does it spin up the, okay, request options, messages, your helpful chat client, complete chat. Okay, well, on the Microsoft Docs, we can spin up an agent. And so here, this actually, let's just use their docs. I'm pulling from two different places here. So let's just kind of finish up this one and see that we can get a response, even though that's pretty ugly. Probably using Azure OpenAI, Azure. Okay. Probably just do a build now. What do we said? I'm going to Paris. What should I see? And we get the response. Okay, perfect. That's where I wanted to get. Basically, I wanted to wire up this Azure model so that we can spin it up. Now that we have a chat bot, you can attach that to an agent and continue to work through all the docs. So got that up and running. I'm sure how I actually instantiate all this is going to change, but I wanted to get it up and running, and we've done that. If you found this beneficial, thanks, and let me know.